Hey loves, it's Olivia, and today I want to talk about the perfect diet for you. And a lot of you have asked what my diet is like, so I'm going to be talking about what works for me and then kind of help you guys figure out what works for you. And before I get started, I do want to say that I get a lot of comments with questions, and for whatever reason, I can't reply to some of them. All I can do is give you a thumbs up. If you have that setting turned off and you want to ask me a question, make sure you turn it on so that I can actually reply to you. I promise I'm not ignoring you. It kind of frustrates me because I'm like, oh, I'm trying to answer your question, but I can't answer it because it won't let me reply to you. And without further ado, if you are excited for this video, give it a big thumbs up and let's get into it. So I eat healthy 80 to 90% of the time, and the rest of the time I let myself off the hook. And that's what works best for me because I'm very prone to binging, and I know there are those of you out there that deal with this as well, and I think everyone at some point in their lives probably has had a binge episode where they just ate way too much for whatever reason. And if you are struggling with that, I do have a video on binge eating, and I'll link that in the description box below if you want to check that out after. What I just try to do is focus on eating as much whole foods as possible, and I don't mean the supermarket, I mean stuff that comes from the earth. I believe that eating as much food such as fruits, vegetables, grains, and proteins that all just come naturally from the earth is the best thing that you can do. I do want to address the other video that I made, which was 10 unhealthy foods that you think are healthy. If you haven't seen that video yet, I will link it down in the description box so you can check that out after. A lot of you are like, oh my gosh, what do I eat now? And don't worry, you can still eat all of those items. One thing I really want to emphasize is that I don't believe in restrictions. I believe that you should eat as healthy as possible, as much of the time as possible, but the rest of the time you should be able to have a cupcake and really enjoy it if you want to. All I was trying to do was help you guys understand that a lot of companies advertise these things as super healthy when they're not. You can't really compare a muffin to an apple. My definition of what healthy is just wholesome, real food. And I think a good way to look at this is if you were a parent and you had a baby that was going to go from having breast milk into actually eating food, what would you feed that baby? And usually it's like blended up broccoli and chicken, blended up sweet potatoes, blended up apples. And I think parents have a very good instinct when it comes to these types of things. They're only going to feed their babies stuff that is really healthy for them. And for some reason, as we get older, because we're bombarded with all of these advertisements and these slogans, as well as marketing lingo like low fat, fat free, 90 calories, I don't really believe that a 90 calorie pack is healthy. And I'm not going to tell you guys that it is, but I'm also not going to tell you that you can't eat that because 90 calories worth of Oreos, still delicious Oreos. I just want to create a space where you guys can come to and learn and grow. And I understand that I'm going to make mistakes. I understand that things in health are constantly going to be changing. I've used agave nectar in one of my recipes before, and I learned that it was not as healthy as I thought it was. And so I hope you guys can understand that as I'm growing and learning, I'm sharing them with you. But I'm not a perfect person, and I'm not trying to sell you the right answer to anything. I want you guys to be able to go out there and find it for yourself. And that's what I hope that Love Health Fitness can bring to you guys, is just a space where you can really learn and grow, and just all of us have this one goal of becoming healthier, no matter what lifestyle choices that we choose, but just aiming for the goal of being as healthy as possible. So I'm going to talk about those types of lifestyles so that you guys can figure out what works for you. So the first one is raw vegan. And what raw vegan means is basically no animal products, hence the vegan part. So that's no honey, no eggs, no dairy, no byproducts of animals whatsoever as well. And raw vegan meaning that you don't eat cooked foods. And then there's another term, which is Raw Till 4, and this is a little bit looser than raw vegan. Raw Till 4 means after 4 p.m., so dinner time, you can eat cooked vegan food. So that includes like cooked curry as well as cooked noodles and stuff like that. The really positive thing about this lifestyle is when you eat a lot of plant-based foods, it's great for your body. It's super healthy. You're eating food in its healthiest form. Whether or not it's a sustainable lifestyle, that is totally up to you. So the next one I want to talk about is plant-based. And this kind of takes vegan almost to another level, and they don't necessarily focus so much on animal rights, whereas vegans do. but plant-based is just basically eating literally everything that comes from plants. The difference between vegan and plant-based is, for instance, if you are on a vegan diet, you could still have store-bought stuff like Oreos, but people who are plant-based won't eat those things. They only eat stuff that is derived from plants. So they'll probably eat like mung bean noodles. It's a very strict type of diet, I would say. I personally probably would not do the best on it. And I think with any type of vegan or plant-based lifestyle, you have to make sure that you're getting enough B12. Usually that derives from eating meat. And if you're not getting any of that, then you definitely still need it. So either get shots or take vitamin B12 supplement. The next one I want to talk about is paleo. And that basically means no grains. So they don't eat any type of corn or rice or pasta, noodles. And a lot of people who do CrossFit love the paleo lifestyle. It's focused a lot basically on eating like how cavemen would eat. You eat meat and then whatever you gather, like fruits and vegetables. If this is something that you're interested in and you feel like you don't eat breads and pastas anyway or very much, then definitely, try it out, see how it works out for you. The next one is pretty interesting. It's the Macrobiotic lifestyle. And this comes from Japan. I believe that every food has a yin and the yang, and you need to balance out all of these foods in each meal. So they eat primarily plant-based foods and a lot of sea vegetables, land vegetables, fermented foods. It requires to have a little bit of everything in every single meal. It has all different types of flavors and textures, and it's supposed to satisfy you because of all the different types of notes that it hits. I personally haven't tried it, but I find it very interesting. Every type of lifestyle has its pros and cons, so check it out, see if you like it. So the next type of diet I want to talk about is Ayurveda, and this is very interesting because they believe that there is 3 different types of doshas, which is Pitta, Vata, and Kapha, and hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And depending on what traits that you have, your personality traits, as well as your bone structure, your body, your nails, your hair, everything, you take a quiz. It'll let you know what foods that you should be consuming. It's a very ancient way of eating, and it focuses a lot on just wholesome foods as well. So if you're interested in checking that out or just at least taking the quiz, I'll link in the description box below. The next one I want to talk about is the keto diet, and I feel like a lot of people in Europe are trying this out, which is a high-fat, low-carb diet. And I'm not sure how I feel about this. I've never tried it out personally, but they focus on having high percentages of fat, and protein comes after, and carbohydrates they keep at a minimum. I'll link some information in the description box below that I find. Other than that, I really recommend doing as much research as possible, and even if you decide to do a combination of these lifestyles, that's totally cool too. And the next one is calorie counting, and I'm pretty iffy about this, but if it works for you, great, because I think it works for some people and it just does not work at all for other people. And this is just basically calories in and calories out. So you eat whatever the heck you want, but you just stay within the calorie limit. I think this is a good stepping stone. Eventually that you should probably pick a lifestyle that is much more sustainable, because you can start getting really focused on those numbers. With calorie counting, I think a lot of people are just focusing so much on being skinny versus being healthy. Because you don't want to go from being overweight to losing weight but having all kinds of eating disorders. What I want Love Health Fitness to be is just a place for us to all be different but still have the same goal and still be able to support one another. I created this channel and I created this space for you guys. I want to encompass every single one of you, whether you're a raw vegan, because I have raw vegan recipes and I have recipes for people who are just trying to eat healthy, and I even have paleo recipes. And I think that's the point, is just to allow you to explore, to learn as I'm learning, and just really figure out what works for you, because I don't believe there is one diet that fits all. So I guess that about wraps it up for this video. I know I talked a lot. I hope this helped you guys out in some way or another. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up, as well as comment below and let me know any of your video requests, as well as let me know what type of lifestyle you are on. If you want to check out some of my other videos or any of the stuff that I mentioned in this video, everything will be in the description box down below. I have a feeling it's going to be a long one. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I promise I'm working on that banana bread recipe. It's gonna be coming probably sometime next month. I'm doing some traveling, so I will figure out the best time to finally perfect that recipe and bring it for you guys. All right, so, and I also wanted to say that I'm actually changing up the slogan a little bit, and I hope you guys are okay with this, but I was doing a lot of thinking, and I think this makes more sense. I know I usually end my videos with do everything you love, but I'm going to start ending my videos with be everything you love, because I feel like you should. You should be everything you love, and I feel like it's much more empowering. And I want to empower you guys, and I want you guys to empower each other. So until our next video, I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening, and be everything you love.